All right. Time for a very long overdue video. Yeah, I was looking back. The last time I did bike journal, I was giving some thesis updates. I was deep in the thesis writing process. Yeah, that was a while ago. That was like the end of July. So it's September now. A lot has happened. So I'm gonna try and recap everything since our last video and just talk a little bit what's happened, what's going on, and what's new going forward. So I guess the big thing here is that I've done my master's. I completed it. I got that thesis written. We had our end of year showcase, what we call Industry Day, where everybody shows off their work and gives a talk. And that went really well. It was nice to finally put the project out there in public in a way it hadn't been at all. Been such a personal thing that I've been working on, sort of in secret in a way. Obviously I was, talking about it with my supervisor and my peers and those around me, and obviously doing these journals and talking about it through there. But I hadn't rolled out the tactical interaction project. I hadn't rolled out Node 1 publicly at all and showed it off in that way. So that was a really cool opportunity to do that. I think it went really well. I got a lot of interest. People were great and coming to check it out and try it out and ask questions, and my family even came through and some friends, which was awesome. My Opa in his 80s came down to Toronto to come check it out. He was probably the one who asked me the hardest questions about the project, and it was just really good. You learn a lot from talking to people and having them ask questions. Things come up that you never expected, you didn't think about, you didn't consider yourself. So that was really cool. And watching people, interact with the system, play with the mass cast and the game that I created, understanding what we can only feel. The one centered around Ontario Place, which I will make further documentation videos of specifically for that, showing that off. But yeah, it was really cool to see people play around with that. I gave a really solid 5-minute presentation to close to 100 people. I was planning to record it here in 360 with this camera and these mics, but I was told I couldn't because the program was creating a recording, which unfortunately never came through. The footage was lost or corrupted or something. So unfortunately, despite my best efforts, I don't have a recording of that presentation, giving a nice summary of my project and thesis in 5 minutes. But maybe I can record another one. But I was really in the zone that day. There's nothing like getting up in front of 100 people to give a talk to really get the juices flowing. So maybe I'll record another version. I don't know. Kind of bummed about that, but whatever. It's in the past. From there, a couple days after that, I had my defense, which is, for those who don't know, it's where your supervisor who's been working with you on the project, the thesis project, and typically you have a bit of a committee. For us, we're expected to have our supervisor, a second reader who's kind of involved but not as involved, someone else with sort of expertise in the area that you're looking at, to go along with your supervisor. And then I found out kind of last minute they were supposed to expect to have a third, typically someone from our program, which is just like a tiebreaker person. So I ended up having a 3-person committee. The defense was me sort of giving a longer, more fuller presentation about my project, my thesis, to them, and then they asked me questions about it. And yeah, I was kind of nervous for that, but honestly, the industry day, a couple days beforehand, just like talking about my project to so many different people, explaining it in so many different ways, really helped me kind of solidify what it was all about and hone it in and be able to comfortably talk about it and explain it to people. And so it felt really good. I was like, pre-industry day, I went from feeling very, very nervous and unsure about my defense to feeling much better leading into it. Obviously still very nervous, you know, it's a big deal, but I kind of felt secure in the fact that I had put in all this work. I was, you know, done all this. You okay? Yeah? Okay. You know, feeling a bit more secure in knowing, yeah, I put in all this work and this effort, and that, you know, I knew my topic, I knew what I was talking about. You know, I've done all this research, I've done all this writing, done all this thinking, done all this reflecting, and yeah, so just being able to talk about it, being able to explain myself and my choices. And so that's what I did. I gave this presentation. My committee grilled me a bit. And then they do this thing where they send you out of the room for deliberations where they talk amongst themselves before they invite you back in to let you know how you did, if you passed or not. And it's pretty stressful, you know. Came out of it after my presentation in the Q&A, feeling pretty good, and then, you know, 30 seconds ticks by, a minute ticks by while I'm waiting, and then I'm starting to doubt myself again. You know, what do they really think? Is the whole thing gonna crash and burn? Do I have to go right back to the start? Is everything I thought I knew not true? But no, once we came back together, my committee was all very complimentary, congratulatory. It seemed sort of the consensus was clearly I had put in a lot of work, a lot of thought, a lot of reflection that don't, you know, my committee felt like you don't typically see to this extent. And yeah, so it felt really good. It was really nice to finally hear that, and you know, in talking with my supervisor and others, obviously, you know, they're letting me know along the way leading up to it that, you know, I'm on the right track, just keep working, keep putting in the work. But to hear that after the defense, kind of a summation of it all, to hear them acknowledge all the hard work I put in, that I've really dug deep and done something interesting, I guess, and something of worth, even just for me, but it seems a lot of other people get interest out of it, so, you know, that makes it worth it. Yeah, felt really good and really nice to like have all that hard work and kind of put all those doubts about what is this all about, is this all worth it, to bed a little bit. I mean, these doubts and stuff will always linger, but yeah, it was pretty amazing to be able to get through the defense. And so I think defenses are kind of judged on, I mean, they're kind of pass or fail, but you're not graded in your defense, but what you get is revisions. So they let you know, like, your paper needs major revisions or minor revisions or no revisions. Basically, how much more work does your thesis paper / project need to, you know, to kind of be done or meet your committee's sort of expectations and requirements. And so I got very, very minimal revisions, basically mostly just sort of typos and formatting things. So that was really nice. That felt good. I mean, I put a lot of work, like well over a month of just focusing on my thesis paper and tuning up the project. And yeah, basically doing nothing but that and training for the triathlon. So, I mean, I guess that's a good segue. So yeah, I finished my defense, and actually the same day, right after I finished my defense, I was all hyped up and excited and stoked that I had passed. So I went out for a run to kind of calm myself down, my body and my mind. And on that run, right after my defense, I actually finished the full Healthy Minds, mindfulness program. Did the final sort of meditation practice in that pathway, and it really, it was kind of a special moment. It all fit together because that mindfulness practice really got me through the thesis. And they really went hand in hand. I was thinking through and reflecting a lot on myself and my thesis work through those mindfulness practices. And the two, like the project, the thesis, and my own mindfulness practice really kind of grew and evolved hand in hand. So it was really fitting that they kind of wrapped up at the same time. So that was nice and exciting. Yeah, so that was cool. And then I decided to make some final revisions to my thesis. Kind of took a few days to do that. I kind of felt too, like, even just after the industry day and the defense, there were a couple things that, like, a couple ideas that I kind of wanted to rework and how I had written them out. So it took a couple days to make my revisions. And then, yeah, not long after the defense, like 5 days after the defense, 6 days, I don't know, 5 days, yeah, I did the Toronto Island Triathlon, which I was kind of very much training for pretty intensely in conjunction with working through the last part of my thesis. I tell you about it in the last video. It was really nice, just kind of like waking up in the morning, take a couple hours to write, going out, doing some triathlon training, and then coming back to write again, and just doing that a whole bunch. And it's really nice. So I ran the Toronto Island Triathlon. It's a sprint distance, so that means 750 meters of swimming in the lake, in the open water, and then 20 kilometers of biking, which on Toronto Island, really nice, really flat, a lot of straight, all paved. Although it had rained a lot that morning, so a lot of big puddles to dodge, but it was fine. And then we finish off with a 5K run. It was great. I was like kind of nervous, but kind of excited. Well, very excited. And I've been training so much that I was feeling pretty good, feeling pretty confident, especially the swimming, the bike. I feel like running is my least strongest of the three disciplines, although I've been running lots, and it's only 5K, but doing a 5K after a swim like that and then a 20-kilometer bike, I wasn't totally sure how my legs would hold up, but yeah, it went really well. That morning I left home for the ferry and it was pissing rain, so biking to the ferry in the rain, and I was like, oh no, is it going to be raining like this like all morning? But basically, standing in the ferry line, the rain let up and the sun came out, and it was just a beautiful morning. The lake was calm, like almost glassy, like no wind. I was worried we were going to have like wind and crashing waves to contend with on the swim, but it was beautiful conditions for swimming. The water was warm. Like I said, the bike, coming off the swim, felt pretty good. I went out pretty hard and I've been having problems with my rotator cuff, I think, from some swim training and some weightlifting that I had done earlier, and it flared up a little bit on the swim, so I was kind of uncomfortable, but it was fine. I was the first one in my heat out of the water. I knew I was gonna be pretty strong in the water, so that was a good start. And then, yeah, I got out of the water and onto the bike. I had practiced those transitions a fair bit in training, like at Cherry Beach, just getting out of the water and just quickly getting onto the bike. So I did that, felt good. Nice thing about the bike ride, like it's the longest part of the triathlon, but for me, it's just like you cruise, you find a good cadence, and woo, bumpy here. A little segue. I'm actually riding out, for those who don't know. It's the Tommy Thompson Spit, the Leslie Spit. Beautiful park. And riding just almost at the end here, there's an old lighthouse out at the end of the Spit. So this trail here, it's the very end, kind of loops around the lighthouse. The lighthouse is up the hill here on my left. It's hard to see. But it's kind of cool to go up there, but yeah, we got a great look out here at the end of the Spit. You can kind of see the city behind me maybe through those trees. And yeah, really nice spot. I love riding out here. It's a great kind of clear your head place to go biking. Pretty cool to come out and just kind of like Land's End, you know. You got the lake out here. Side, you got the city in the background. Beautiful day, not too windy. Water looks pretty clear. Just a really nice spot. You get really busy on weekends and stuff, but you know, bartender life. I have the joy and ability to come out and do these things on weekday days. Then I go work on weekends and evenings, but it's nice. I can make use of all this beautiful public space when everyone else is at work and school, so yay. But yeah, this is the end of the Tommy Thompson Spit. It's beautiful out here. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a specific video on this area. The thing about that actually is something going forward is making videos about different places and areas in Toronto that I bike through. It's really interesting to learn the history and context of some of these spaces, but I'll save that for a future one, just to let you know that it's a great spot and that's where I am right now. But yeah, back to the triathlon. So yeah, got out of the water and onto the bike. And you sort of just cruise along on the bike to find a good solid cadence, and you kind of run at that, you know, good solid fast speed. Sometimes, you know, I would pick it up a bit more to try and pass people. Like you can't draft off behind people. If someone's kind of running slower than you, you have to kind of make an effort to get around them pretty soon, pretty quick. So, well, and there was lots of people out. The bike courses, for anyone who's been to Toronto Island, you run between the center island area where the swim is and the transition area is to Hamlin's Point, and then back, and you do that loop actually 4 times to make up 20 kilometers. So everyone, you know, it's like 500 people, I don't know, maybe not 500, but a couple hundred people doing that, doing their loops all at the same time. So you're constantly having to like go around people, and you're getting passed by faster people. And then, like I said, it rained that morning, so there's some really big puddles along the way. So yeah, dodging people, dodging puddles, but you know, just kind of cruising on the bike like I am now. Obviously faster than this, but yeah, I know it's a good time. It's a good time after the swim and before the run to like rehydrate, get some water in, get some snacks in if that's your thing. I found during training that like, for me, I really have trouble, especially running, but like biking and swimming with, you know, a full stomach. I tend to do my workouts early in the day when all I've had is generally just a smoothie. And that works really well for me. I found like trying to eat snacks like have like a protein bar or something between the bike and the run. Just doesn't sit well for me. I like to be light. I like to be empty, be fast. So just time to rehydrate on the bike. I think I might have had like a little bite. Oh no, I put a protein bar in my bib just in case I was feeling a little hunger pangs while on the bike, but no, I think I got enough stores in my body. I carb loaded the 2 nights before, so had some big pasta and protein dishes, so I was feeling fine. But just the bike, good time to cruise and rehydrate. And then probably the hardest part was coming in from the 20-kilometer bike into the transition area. You drop your bike, rip off the helmet, and then you go to start running. There's a term for this, they call it bricks. And when you're working out, you're training, they call them brick workouts, where you go from the bike straight to the run. And all because getting off the bike and trying to start running right away, your legs feel like bricks. And I thought it was kind of funny, but it's totally true. And especially the first couple that you do, really feels like that. And on race day, definitely felt that. Coming off the bike, starting to run, and just like, ooh, this is heavy legs. But once you get going, like anyone who runs, that the start of the run, it's always hard you can't just go right away. You got to ease in a little bit. And then once you get going, things start to loosen up and you start to hit your stride, as they say. And so, that's kind of how it went for me. Started a bit slow on the run, but started to pick up the pace as I went along. I wore my running shoes while biking, and all those puddles I was talking about you splashed through a few of them, and my shoes were pretty soaked through. So on the run, I was kind of running on. You could hear it every step, like running on sponges. So I was a little uncomfortable, but it's only a 5-kilometer run. So I don't know, once kind of got warmed up in the feel for it, just started kind of cruising, chugging along. And I probably could have pushed it a bit harder on the run, but like I said, it's my least strong discipline. And I kind of just wanted to make sure I finished and didn't pull anything and come up like a kilometer shy of the finish line or anything. So I just went at a good pace that I felt comfortable with. Didn't really push it too hard on the run. But it felt good. Cruised through, made it through the finish line. Felt really good. Got medal hung around my neck. And I think my time was pretty decent for a first time triathlon. I think the swim was just under 15 minutes. The bike was around 40 minutes and the run was under 30 minutes. So, I felt happy with all those times. Nothing earth shattering, but the first triathlon, I was just doing it to finish, not trying to set any specific times. So felt really happy with that, really proud of myself. I think I want to do more triathlons. I kind of really enjoyed it, and having that thing to work towards. I really enjoy the training, and I really do enjoy all three disciplines. I love swimming, I love biking so much, I love running. They're all very meditative. I love that holistic sort of training routine where you're involved in all things. Right now, so I'll get into this later, but right now I'm training for a half marathon in about a month's time, and kind of missing the running and the biking, or the swimming and the biking. Like, just run training is not as fun. I like being able to mix it up. So, ooh, caterpillar. So yeah, I think I'd probably no more triathlons this season because it's already September, and but definitely looking forward to next summer and, you know, do another triathlon or two, maybe something longer distance. Look towards like an Olympic distance length, which is twice as long as a sprint. Maybe even beyond that, looking at like a half Ironman. It's kind of crazy, but I don't know. We'll see how this half marathon goes, and then maybe start thinking about a half Ironman. But that's where you do, I can't remember the distances, but you basically finish off with a half marathon after a long swim and long bike. So I don't know, we'll see. These are all way further down the road, but yeah, I felt really good to do the triathlon. But yeah, after that, so yeah, we had the industry day, and then my defense, and then my final thesis submission, and then the triathlon. And then basically right after that, I was like, I had taken off some shifts, like a number of work shifts, you know, in the month and a half leading up to my thesis being done, just to give myself extra time to work on my thesis and everything. And so I was just kind of behind a little bit in terms of work and cash flow. So basically, as soon as I was done everything right after the triathlon, I went back to picking up 4 or 5 bar shifts a week, basically like full-time working again. And I should have given myself a little bit more leeway, a little bit more rest, because my body just crashed out hard. I just got sick, and took about a week of just like doing nothing or trying to do nothing to sort of recover. That was the thing. I think it went hand in hand. Like, I've been going so hard, working on the thesis, working on my project, training for the triathlon, just like go, trying to be productive and top of things, waking up at 7 a.m. every morning, being structured, being productive. And that worked really well, you know, getting my thesis done and getting all the work in and doing this triathlon. But, you know, keep pushing it. And at some point you crash. And so I crashed. It was really hard, you know, like I should have just like completely pumped the brakes and let myself have some, you know, I like to call them dead days, where you just do nothing, completely remove yourself from the world, just watch movies or lay on the couch and read a book, eat some soup. But I don't know, my mind was still very much in this like, oh, you got to stay productive, you can't just do nothing, you'll lose all your momentum. And knowing myself and knowing, like, you know, I really thrive off having routine and momentum and stuff to work towards. And yeah, I was worried that if I did that and did nothing for a couple days even, that I would lose all my momentum and that I built up in my master's program and just kind of crash out in another way. I was worried about losing momentum. So my body was shutting down and trying to take a break, but my mind was like, you got to keep going, you got to stay, like, you got to be productive every day, you got to keep reading and writing and doing things and working on projects. Keep it up, you know, don't lose that momentum. And so that was really difficult. It was really hard to like give myself that recovery, because the mind and body are so tied that my body really needed a break, and my mind too. But my mind wouldn't. My body just gave itself a break, but my mind was really struggling to kind of shut down and chill out. So yeah, that was the struggle, and it was hard, and actually put me kind of in a dark space for a bit there, because I was like, you know, just really struggling to kind of let go and come to terms with the fact that, like, yo, you've done this thing. Just like chill out for a bit and celebrate. Not everything needs to be high production push every day. Like, it's okay to take a break, especially after doing something so major, or a couple major things. Like, relax. Oh wow, speed bumps. And so yeah, it's kind of a struggle. It's kind of a struggle to do that, but I feel like the last couple days, finally, something kind of switched to my brain, and I'm like, okay, it's all right. Don't need to like keep pushing yourself so much. Obviously, keep it up. Don't do nothing. But I think my body's kind of gotten a bit better, and my mind started to come around and be like, okay, it's all right. You can be productive and still be easy on yourself. So yeah, but I think it's something like pretty common. Like, people finish a program like this that they put so much into, they finish a thesis and then feel a little directionless, a little listless, have trouble kind of slowing down and taking a break after it all. And that definitely me. So yeah, kind of now just trying to figure out next steps really after finishing this thesis. There's a lot of things that I want to do. I'd like to keep this project alive in some way, the whole tactical interaction project. So right now, I'm kind of looking at ways to document everything, put that out there, build up a community, hopefully around it, get other people on board and working. So if you're watching this and you have any interest in getting involved in the tactical interaction project, please reach out. But yeah, I'd like to make another zine kind of based around this whole project. I think I might make one that's like my full thesis paper in zine format, and then make a more condensed one that looks specifically at the tactical interaction project and Node 1 and the other projects themselves. Because my thesis really, as I kind of explained in the other videos, goes way broader into the full sort of world of research creation, and my personal creative process of working through this project, creative research, all this stuff. So, which I think is really important, but kind of goes beyond the scope of this tactical interaction project. So they can kind of be broken out into two different things. Yeah. I'd like to also do some videos that kind of look at the specific things that I made, like mass cast, and specifically understanding what we could only feel. I guess it's a video game. It's inspired by video games, or at least game sort of critical play and game design. I guess somebody pointed out that it's technically a walking simulator, which makes sense, and that's a whole big genre of games. So yeah, it's a really interesting project. I won't like go into detail on this right now, but stay tuned for some videos kind of showing what the game is on the front end, and then probably also diving into the back end, because I made the game in Touch Designer, and so kind of looking at what I did there on the back end. Yeah, and just I'm gonna start looking maybe at some grants or opportunities to kind of show the project in public. Yeah, there's a lot that I want to do, and I'm just kind of figuring out how to go about doing it. I'm just trying to get my body and mind right and recovered, so that I can carry on and do that work. And then beyond that, like I said, training for a half marathon now that's in October. Looking at doing the county marathon out in Prince Edward County. Yeah, just doing a half Marathon should be fun. Another challenge. I feel like I've built up a good base through the triathlon training, so hopefully, again, not looking to like crush any sort of time, just looking to complete the thing and say I did it. So yeah, that's on the docket. And then at some point too, I'd like to get back into working with touch design a bit more, doing some, in the past, I've done sort of like, I call them dailies, little audio visual experiments where I kind of make a little song sketch in Ableton, and then I take that over and make a video to go along with it in Touch Designer, some sort of like visual sketch made in Touch Designer. So, and I try and do one of those every day. I was actually thinking back in Song a Day January, like Cut Eastbound started, and I kind of made it into song and video a day. But yeah, that's something I want to get back into, making music, doing experimental little video and programming patches, build that up. I like to dabble in some, started learning a bit about robotics and AI in my program. That's something I like to experiment with a bit more, working with like Arduinos and Raspberry Pi and AI systems. Yeah, I like to get involved a bit more too in the community. Been out doing bike brigade deliveries, did that once before, and I'd like to get out now that my program's done, get out and do that more often. Get involved more with supporting Palestine. It's absolutely heartbreaking that we're still witnessing genocide. So there's a lot out there that I want to be getting involved in. Yeah, again, it's that whole balancing and making time, being productive. There's not so much time there to get everything done, so just trying to figure out right now what's all most important, and what to do first and how to balance it all and still take care of myself, my mind, my body, keep that wellness going, because none of it's all not worth it if you ruin yourself mentally or physically, emotionally. So yeah, you gotta take care of yourself first if you want to take care of others in the world. You gotta better yourself so you can better the world. So yeah, that's still the main thing on my docket, is take care of myself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, so that I can be better and make the world better. So yeah, I think on that note, probably leave it there. It's been a long journal and cruising around a fair bit, so it is a beautiful day though. But yeah, that's all. Bunch of updates, and hopefully there'll be more of these. I would like to continue making these videos, even now that my program's done, my thesis is done. So stay tuned. Hopefully I can do more of these more regularly. Maybe every week would be nice, ideally. We'll see. Might just do some written journals, some written work, but we'll see. Anyways, that's where I'm at now. Just trying to work on myself. And yeah, hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching if you made it this far, and peace.